It's time for another big project. We're converting a petrol-powered Caterham 7 into an electric vehicle. So in this video, I'm going to give you an overview of our upcoming EV or electric vehicle conversion project, where we're taking this 10-year-old Caterham Supersport SV and converting it to run on electric. Electric car conversions are nothing new, and there are a number of UK and worldwide companies offering to convert your often classic car into one being powered by an electric drivetrain. However, there aren't many that will convert a 7 for you, and I'm not aware of any companies doing that commercially at the moment. I think that's partly because there isn't much space in the car for a new drivetrain, but also partly, I suspect, because the petrol bit of having a 7 is so special. So what I want to find out is, can an electric 7 also be that special? Over the coming videos, we're going to be doing regular project updates, along with videos on the technical and safety aspects of doing a conversion. I'll be diving into the weeds to talk about the drivetrain, batteries, charging, performance, 3D scanning the car, safety, and probably a lot more. And because of the space constraints of such a small car, I'll be putting a lot of emphasis on 3D modelling of the design to make sure it will fit before committing to any of the bending and welding of metal. Then we'll put some time into talking about the trade-offs in a conversion project. Motor power versus space, battery capacity versus space and weight, gearing versus efficiency, overall layout, and a whole bunch more. Then there's a very real need to talk about safety, both what's needed to make the conversion process as safe as possible, but also what makes a safe EV. We'll cover working safely with high voltages, but we'll also cover the safety systems needed in EV cars too. And because I'm not a certified instructor, I'll also suggest that this should only be undertaken by someone who knows what they're doing. And even then, that you spend a few days to get properly qualified, rather than just watching 20-minute videos of people like me on YouTube. And to top all those videos off, there'll also be some Instagram and Facebook Reels and YouTube Shorts for people that need their dopamine hits in sub-60-second fixes. But above all, I hope this video series is fun and educational, and I'm aiming it at anyone who's interested in how all of this works. So why do a conversion of a classic petrol-engined icon? I've been threatening to do a 7 EV conversion ever since I built my 420 in 2017. If you haven't seen the video about that, then there's a link up here in the corner somewhere. So, now seemed like as good a time as any to put my money where my mouth is and get cracking on a 7. See what I did there? Putting the EV in 7? 7? Get it? Well, if you have to explain a joke, then I guess it's not funny, is it? At Purplemeanie HQ, we're just about electric everything, with solar PV, battery storage, an EV car, solar hot water, and more projects like that that are in the works. We also monitor our usage closely and shift our usage pattern to early morning with our Tesla battery and overnight car charging. We've had solar PV for around 20 years and battery storage for nearly 5. So owning a petrol 7 has sort of grated on my soul for a while. My petrol 420R is something I'd wanted for over 35 years. I love driving it and will absolutely keep it for as long as I'm allowed to. And while an electric 7 absolutely won't be the same sort of beast as my 420, would it lose the essence of being a 7? This shouldn't be an unfamiliar concept in the Caterham world. An 85 VHP clamshell wing 170, the wings look a bit like a clamshell, is a very different proposition to a snarling 310 bhp supercharged 620R. They might look the same basic shape, but they get used in very different driving experiences. Perhaps an electric 7 just fits along the line between the two extremes somewhere. Now, back to the eco side of the discussion that I alluded to before. Our 420 actually gets used very little in comparison to our other transport, and so until recently I've assuaged my guilt knowing it wasn't a big part of our carbon footprint. But I'm a big fan of doing all you can for the environment, and while transport is inherently a carbon sink, perhaps an electric 7 is just a little bit better than a nice one. I'm not going to kid anyone that this will save the planet, but maybe it can do its bit when it comes to enjoying a day out in the car. We might even get into some videos about this topic at some point too. Doing an electric 7 is definitely about all of the issues above for sure, but it's also about seeing if it's viable. Are there too many compromises, or is it just too costly given the inevitable trade-offs? Well, I've been doing my homework, and surprise, surprise, I think it is doable. I think the engineering and the physics stack up. I've created lots of 3D models to investigate the space I have to play with, and I've crunched the numbers to see whether I'll be able to meet my design goals. I'm not sure about the finances making sense, which we'll also get to in future videos, but I think the engineering and the physics do make sense. Now let's take a look at what any good project needs, and that's to understand the project objectives. What are our goals and what constitutes success? At least for me. What am I looking to get out of this? It needs to be a 7. Drive like a 7, look like a 7, and feel like a 7. Though of course it may not quite sound like a 7. Where's it going to be used? Town, country and track. Certainly on the road for day or multi-day trips, but also at the track if permitted. I'll come back to that in a bit. I want to go places in this car, not just around town or on the back of a trailer, so it needs to have a range of at least 120 miles, which is about what I can manage before needing a break anyway. And that's something we've found out owning an EV. It's not range anxiety that determines how far we travel without a stop, it's how full our bladders are. The ability to charge overnight at home and in less than half an hour or so when away from home are all we need. That will let me charge at a track for multiple runs in a day, but of course that will be very dependent on when tracks have the fast chargers needed. There are plenty of jokes about dragging your own extra batteries to a track, or even using a generator. But the reality is that EV track use will only take off when tracks have reasonably fast chargers installed. I'd like to have something like my 420's performance. So around 0 to 60 in 4 seconds and a top speed of around 120 miles an hour. Some might say that's excessive, and some might ask why I'm not looking for world records. The reality is that I think this is about as much as you can get in a wide-bodied known as an SV7. Any 7 handles like a go-kart and is fantastic around the twisty bits. But as an EV, an electric 7 might not work. With non-ideal front-to-back weight distribution or just too much weight, this may be the most difficult of all the objectives, but we'll see. Affordability, well, moving on. Those are the primary objectives, from which a bunch of other stuff like battery capacity and inverter type and size sort of all fall out of the compromises those objectives create. I'd also like to point out others have done electric 7s before me. I'm not the first. So that being said, this is just my project to do my electric 7. If you find that prospect interesting, then please follow along as I go through the ups and downs of this project. There'll be no sweeping of any truths under the carpet. I've also written 4 articles about the project already in the Caterham and Lotus 7 Club's monthly magazine called Low Flying, and there's even more on my blog at purplemeanie.co.uk. There'll be lots more to come over the coming months, so make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon to see any new videos as they come out. And if your thing is social media, then you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook for the bits in between the videos. See the links in the description below. The next video is going to be a deeper dive into what different bits and pieces you need in a conversion. Motors, batteries, AC and DC converters, inverters and the rest. I'll explain it all based around my project, but I hope there's plenty in there for anyone interested in electric vehicles. So, stay tuned and happy blatting.